Silent Hunt. This Ukrainian sniper has become so iconic, even people in the US are cosplaying him. Cool, bro, but there's a tiny detail you might have missed. The original uses a different rifle, and it's thanks to this beauty that a jaw-dropping feat became possible. 4,155 yards, 2 inches, and 7 millimeters. The world record for a sniper shot on a moving target. Curious how this happened? Stick around and you'll find out what made it possible. The mission was simple but critical. Eliminate a high-ranking officer who occasionally showed up in this area. He had no idea he was about to become the target. These were positions we had been observing for quite some time. When it comes to sniper missions, it's not just about the rifle. The sniper's kit also includes a telescope, laser targeting device, collimator sight, thermal imaging scope, the works. For a sniper to do the job well, reconnaissance is essential. All that gear adds up. The total weight of a sniper's equipment can exceed 70 pounds, so having a partner is a must. Typically, snipers work with one spotter. This partner helps carry gear to the position, monitors the situation, adjusts fire, and ensures the area is secure. If necessary, the spotter can even take a shot. But for this mission, the Ukrainian sniper, a member of the Special Forces of the Ukrainian Security Service, had 2 assistants. And there was a good reason for that. In modern warfare, drones have become essential to a sniper team's arsenal. That's right, drones are now considered sniper weapons too. If we can take a shot with the rifle, we'll do that. But if the job calls for a drone, then we use the drone. The third member of this sniper team was a drone operator. The distance to the target was extreme, so the drone made the first move. But the Russians, hearing the telltale buzz, quickly took cover. We realized the drone wouldn't be able to hit them, so we decided to take the shot. The Russians felt secure because they were far from the gray zone, the area between Ukrainian and Russian-controlled territory. The size of the gray zone depends on the terrain. Sometimes it stretches over 2,000 feet or more, and it's far from static. In this war, the gray zone is incredibly dynamic, shifting daily. We had 2 rifles. Mine was set up for a range of about 2,200 yards, while the lead rifle was calibrated for 4,000 yards. Such setups are essential. When a bullet leaves a rifled barrel, it spins around its axis, causing it to drift slightly off its straight path. The farther it travels, the more this drift increases. If the rifle is calibrated for a specific distance, the shooter cannot reliably hit targets much farther away without readjusting the settings. Let's be real, 4,155 yards is an incredible distance. At that range, everything affects the shot. Wind, humidity, atmospheric pressure, the curvature of the earth, and a dozen other factors. So how do snipers deal with this? We fired a sighting shot, and sure enough, the wind was much stronger than we had calculated. Modern snipers rely on specialized software installed in their smartphones, but the software needs accurate data to provide the right adjustments for the scope settings. After making adjustments, I fired a second shot. The bullet takes about 9 seconds to reach its target. I went over to the spotter and waited for him to confirm. 9 seconds. That's a full second longer than basketball's 8-second rule for advancing the ball. Even with all the calculations factored in, a 100% guarantee is impossible. The wind could shift, or the target could move. So, what was the result? He says, it's a hit, and the third team member who was filming confirmed it too. Amazing. So, was it just luck, or do they have some secret technique? Yes, we got lucky. Actually, there is a secret, or rather a few of them. Here's what we found out. First, this sniper happens to be a former European long-range shooting champion. Fun fact, some of his former competitors are now his enemies. Second, he makes his own ammunition. That's right, he handcrafts his bullets. This lets me achieve the highest possible quality. His rounds are precision ammunition. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It's actually pretty common among sport shooters. But there's one more secret: a special rifle. because you can't just grab any sniper rifle and hit a target at 4,000 yards. So what was the weapon of choice? This particular rifle was designed specifically for long-range shooting. Meet Horizon's Lord, a multi-purpose, multi-caliber sniper rifle developed by a Ukrainian company. This rifle is exclusively used by the Ukrainian Security Services Special Forces, tasked with the most challenging missions. We know where this weapon can be deployed. If needed, we'll travel to any point on the front. This beast weighs in at 37 pounds and, when fully assembled, stretches nearly 6 feet long. It's probably the largest sniper rifle in the world. But what does multi-caliber mean exactly? Well, it's built for a specially designed cartridge, the 12.7 by 114. It uses components: a primer, casing, bullet, and powder. The bullet itself is .510 caliber, fitted into a case borrowed from the 14.5 by 114 millimeter cartridge. We assemble each round ourselves and test them at the range every time. So the formula is simple: a specialized rifle, plus a custom cartridge, plus a champion sniper, plus a dash of luck equals a world sniper record. Most snipers, however, operate at shorter distances, but even at closer ranges, there are records to be made, of a different kind. Watch and be amazed. A range of 765 yards, and yet, a pair of Ukrainian snipers managed to take down 22 targets together. Incredible. And we're not talking about some white-tailed deer here. This was a Russian assault group. It's worth noting that night raids typically involve the enemy's most experienced fighters, making these prime targets. When a sniper is in action, it's genuinely terrifying. That's why nearly every unit on the front line has its own dedicated snipers. Within infantry units, these sharpshooters are called designated marksmen. Their job? Cover their team during advances or retreats. Though honestly, marksman doesn't quite cut it. A better term might be Superman, because a sniper in an infantry unit is a true multi-tool. They carry 2, sometimes even 3 rifles. Why so many? This Ukrainian sharpshooter explains. For targets up to 550 to 650 yards, we use a .308 caliber. For longer distances, it's the .338 Barrett caliber. They're likely referring to the American Barrett M82, also known in US Army documentation as the M107. You've probably seen it in the movie Shooter. But how does this American-made weapon perform in the real war in Ukraine? It's an incredibly effective weapon, starting with the fact that it's semi-automatic. This caliber can easily set an MTLB on fire. The Barrett's stated maximum range is almost 2,000 yards. However, during operations in Afghanistan, an Australian commando hit a target at 3,078 yards. In this war, though, engagements often occur at much shorter distances. In such situations, a sniper doesn't have the luxury of extended reconnaissance or carefully selecting a position. They have to adapt on the spot, reacting to the situation as it unfolds. For example, in Bakhmut, the gray zone sometimes shrank to just 100 to 200 feet. The infamous Russian meat wave assaults happened non-stop 24/7. For 10 months, they attacked in waves, giving snipers countless opportunities to prove their skill. Here's what they had to say about the brutal battle. In Bakhmut, it wasn't unusual to take down 5 to 10 targets in a single day. In Bakhmut, every house became a fortress, so the gray zone often didn't exist. Targets were sometimes visible without any special equipment. Working in Bakhmut was very convenient. We were extremely effective. We'd go through about 150 rounds a day. But then, the Russians flanked the city, and all hell broke loose. When Bakhmut was nearly encircled, the fiercest battles took place over the last road connecting the city to the outside world. The distance was so close, the Ukrainian snipers could hear the enemy's voices. If the Russian army had managed to cut that lifeline, many Ukrainian units would have been trapped. The primary targets for Ukrainian snipers in Bakhmut were Wagner Group fighters. At night, the Russians gathered assault troops. They would move in 1s and 2s, converging at a single point to launch an attack at dawn. Each night, we'd fire about 30 rounds from one rifle. Even for veteran snipers who've been fighting since 2014, this number of targets was overwhelming. By the third magazine, we were already thinking about running to get more ammo because we didn't anticipate there would be so many of them. The rifles were burning hot, but the stream of targets didn't stop. As soon as one was taken out, another would appear. It felt like the Russians were sprouting from the ground. Either something was off with the bullets, or this was some kind of nightmare. After 2 brutal nights in a row, the Ukrainian snipers sent up a drone to scout the area and figure out what was going on. Here's what they saw. The ground was littered with bodies. They weren't removing their dead, but were simply dumping the corpses into a pit. Besides shooting, the snipers in Bakhmut had another critical role. They provided coordinates for artillery and drones, acting as spotters. But make no mistake, the battle for Bakhmut was no walk in the park for snipers. The biggest danger when you're working at close range is that you could be taken out accidentally. And then there's winter, the harshest conditions imaginable. To avoid detection, snipers can't move, and staying completely still at -4 degrees Fahrenheit is incredibly challenging. Hit the like button to subscribe if you're shivering just thinking about it. On top of that, the freezing temperatures drain the batteries of the gadgets snipers rely on to set up their scopes. And at -40 degrees Fahrenheit, forget it. Winter warfare is a science in its own right. That's why we made a separate video all about how soldiers survive on the front lines in the brutal cold. A sniper usually prepares their position carefully, but after a few shots, they have to move. Snipers are always a top priority target for the enemy. In the heat of constant battle, though, this wasn't an option. There was no time to set up proper positions. We had to act fast. Of course, this pushes the risks to the absolute limit. Hate to break it to you, but the life of a sniper is far from romantic. While snipers are out hunting, they're also being hunted. Real anti-sniper operations are nothing like the sniper duels you see in the movies. It's rare for a sniper to specifically hunt another sniper, but when it happens, the resulting footage can become legendary. However, here's how anti-sniper operations usually go down in real life. Anti-sniper teams have their own thermal imaging gear, sniper equipment, and, of course, drones, which have become the Grim Reapers, not just for infantry, but for snipers too. Now you have to hide much more carefully because of the drones. Sure, you can shoot down a drone with a well-placed shot, but good luck doing that while holding a 35-pound rifle. And it gets worse. A sniper's coordinates can be passed to artillery even before they've had a chance to leave their position. Once located, their spot is targeted by howitzers, mortars, or multiple launch rocket systems. Urban ruins provide a slightly better defensive advantage. They create a more fortified system where a sniper's shot can be muffled by the chaos of battle. Firing from deep inside a building also hides the muzzle's flash, significantly improving the chances of staying undetected. But if you're a sniper with a rifle, don't think you're some untouchable hotshot. After just a few shots, the enemy might respond with a grenade launcher or even an APC cannon. There have been cases where an entire apartment building was destroyed with a tank cannon or a 203mm howitzer just to take out a single sniper. If a sniper is spotted, it's incredibly hard to get away. When the Pion howitzer hits, 20-foot concrete slabs fly like paper, and 2 floors can be wiped out instantly. If you want to be a sniper, you need to understand, this is no easy job. There are many myths about snipers. What's the weirdest one you've heard? Let us know in the comments.